Starship Entertainment's upcoming boy group IDID hasn't even debuted yet, but one of its members is already at the center of a storm. Allegations about this trainee have spread fast, and they're not minor. While some accuse him of using personal ties to secure a spot in the group, others have made far more serious claims, including harassment, disturbing behavior toward women, and even violations of consent. So why is Starship moving forward with the debut of someone facing accusations this serious? In July 2024, Starship Entertainment announced a new survival project called New Kids on the Starship, aimed at creating their next boy group. The company's promotional timeline revealed that a survival show titled Debut's Plan would begin airing on March 14th, 2025. Out of 21 trainees competing, only 7 were expected to make it into the final lineup. The show wrapped up on May 4th with the group's name and members finally revealed. Although the stylization hasn't been officially confirmed, the name IDID appears to blend ID and I did, continuing Starship's trend of concept-driven names like IVE and Kiki. The final lineup included Kim Min-jae at the top, followed by Jang Young-hoon, Baek Jun-hyuk, Park Won-bin, Chu Yu-chan, Jong Se-min, and Park Junhwan. Park Song-hyun, who placed 8th, was added as an extra member. Their debut was scheduled for the second half of 2025, and anticipation was high, at least until things took a very different turn. First, let's talk about the show, since many viewers felt like Starship had completely wasted everyone's time. From the way things played out, it seemed like the company had already chosen who would debut long before the show even began, mainly a group made up of their long-term trainees who conveniently received the most attention throughout the episodes. One of them was Kim Ji-young, who had been training under Starship for over 5 years. Most people assumed he was a lock for the final lineup, but even with all that experience, he was constantly targeted online. Netizens criticized everything about him: his age, his height, his appearance, and especially how obvious it was that the company was trying to push him forward. Seeing all this negativity, it seems like Starship chose not to debut him in the end. They just dropped him despite his popularity, talent, and skills. And he wasn't the only one who got pushed aside. Other trainees were also heavily criticized, some for how they looked, others simply because they weren't Korean. Once the company saw how harsh the public reaction was, they seemed to panic. Instead of standing by their original picks, it's being said that they scrapped everything and rushed to put together a new lineup that matched what Korean netizens wanted: a group of all Korean members who fit the narrow visual expectations. It honestly felt like a bad joke, but for the trainees, it was all too real. Years of hard work, training, and sacrifice were thrown away, not because they lacked talent, but because a loud minority decided they weren't good enough. As for Junhwan, his debut caught a lot of people off guard. He had barely any fan base, barely showed up on screen, and had only been training for about 5 months. Compared to the others, he seemed inexperienced and didn't stand out much. Many viewers didn't even think he had the skill or stage presence to make it, which is why he consistently ranked at the bottom of fan polls. So when his name ended up in the final lineup, it left a lot of people confused, wondering how someone with so little support ended up debuting. A viewer of the show wrote, "Most unserious move possible, picking Junhwan over Kyuhyun, Jiyoung, and Woo Hao, but also completely expected from Starship Entertainment." As you can see, Junhwan's spot in the group didn't sit well with a lot of viewers. From the moment the lineup was announced, people who had followed the show closely were already criticizing the decision, and some felt like he was doomed to face hate even before stepping into the spotlight. But things only got messier from there, and his skills weren't even the main issue anymore. Just a few days after the show wrapped up, someone claiming to be a former classmate came forward online, making some serious claims. According to them, Junhwan had always talked about his family's ties to the industry, saying he knew people who worked at smaller entertainment labels and hinting that those connections could get him far. To this person, it didn't feel like a coincidence that Junhwan, despite all the odds, made the final cut. It added fuel to the fire and made people question whether his debut was really about talent at all or about his alleged connections. Moving on to the most serious accusations, the same alleged classmate said that Junhwan had a troubling history back in middle school. They said he regularly judged girls based on their looks, like it was completely normal, and often talked badly about other students behind their backs. The person even claimed they were one of the people he spoke about. They also mentioned a group of boys at the school who played soccer together, which wasn't an official team, just a gathering of kids who liked the sport. That group, the poster said, had a group chat where they would allegedly Photoshop girls' faces and talk about their appearances, and they claimed that Junhwan was a part of that circle. On top of that, there were apparently rumors going around that he was already having physical relations with girls during middle school. The classmate also recalled a time when Junhwan was doing a live stream, and at some point, he and another person reportedly pulled out old yearbooks and started judging the girls in them. The person on the stream with him allegedly warned him to be careful with what he said if he really planned on becoming famous, but Junhwan supposedly ignored the warning and kept talking anyway. According to the post, Junhwan had never shown any real interest in becoming an idol before all this, which only made his sudden sudden success on the show seem more suspicious to people who knew him. To back up their story, the original poster even uploaded a photo of Junhwan from their school days as proof that they had attended the same school. Someone else soon came forward anonymously, sharing even more claims about Junhwan's past. According to this person, Junhwan used to go live on Instagram back in school and would show photos of girls from their yearbook, rating their appearances in front of viewers like it was entertainment. They also said Junhwan had a habit of acting full of himself because he had done some small music gigs, though the commenter didn't think he had what it took to be an idol. On top of that, they alleged that Junhwan was dating around early on, even claiming he slept with his girlfriend when they were in 8th grade. To this commenter, his debut wasn't about talent. It looked more like it happened because of his family ties. They added that if Junhwan really planned on entering the spotlight, he should have been more careful about how he acted back then. As for proof, the person attached a screenshot of Junhwan's Instagram account saying they had followed him at the time and personally saw what he posted. Starship didn't say a word in response to the growing number of claims, but things continued to snowball, this time with screenshots from an alleged group chat between people who said they went to school with Junhwan. In the messages, one person claimed Junhwan was known for being overly obsessed with girls and always bragging about how many he'd been with. Someone in the chat even said they had dated him for a bit, only for Junhwan to talk badly about them once they broke up. Another person chimed in, calling him awful, and the original poster agreed, adding that Junhwan had been active with girls since 7th grade, something they said wasn't even a secret at their school. A few others in the chat confirmed this, with one of them saying they couldn't believe someone like him wanted to be an idol. They talked about how gross they thought he was, how he constantly talked about girls, and how he seemed to treat his experiences like something to show off. The group also brought up a rumor that Junhwan and a girlfriend had once been caught having physical relations on the stairs by the school gym during class hours, and apparently he even mentioned it himself during a live stream. They also claimed Junhwan had been physical with his girlfriend, but ignored her concerns about using protection. According to the story, she was really scared she might get pregnant and had asked him to be careful, but he went ahead anyway without using any protection. Some photos, said to be from an ex-girlfriend, were shared as supposed proof, though no one could say for sure if the girl in the pictures was the one involved. These allegations hit people hard because what Junhwan was accused of crossed serious lines. In many places, this kind of behavior would be seen as rape since it happened without clear full consent. Unfortunately, the situation got even worse. More messages supposedly from Junhwan leaked, revealing a darker side. In these texts, he uses harsh, disrespectful language toward women. In one conversation, he appears to threaten and harass someone who might have damaging information about him. Junhwan reportedly insults this person's looks, but also oddly suggests they get physical. On top of the insults, he brags about having lots of money and even jokes about paying for plastic surgery or a nose job for her. When she asks why he won't just leave her alone, he responds with a cruel comment wishing she weren't alive. Then he warns that if she exposes what happened, there would be serious repercussions, which paints a very troubling picture of him. When these troubling messages surfaced, coming from someone set to debut under a top entertainment company, fans were shocked and deeply upset. They organized protests, planning to place funeral wreaths outside the company's building to demand Junhwan's removal. Even though wreaths are traditionally used for memorials, fans used them symbolically to call for transparency and accountability from the company. Despite their clear and serious demands, as of May 22nd, the company hadn't responded or given any update on Junhwan's position as a group member or within the company. While the company stayed silent, new allegations surfaced from an anonymous Twitter account linked to Junhwan's supposed classmates. This account shared messages from someone claiming to have known or even dated him. In those messages, Junhwan is accused of making shockingly cruel remarks about a girl with a physical disability. The screenshots also show him saying disturbing things about a female idol whose name was redacted, including inappropriate and violent comments. The alleged ex-girlfriend described how Junhwan treated his past relationships like trophies, mocked her behind her back, and behaved lewdly. He reportedly also made fun of girls' weight and targeted shy or quiet students struggling to fit in. According to the ex-girlfriend, Junhwan was well known in his neighborhood for his bad behavior, using offensive and vulgar language to harass female idols and streamers. He even caused trouble at school, yelling at teachers, but nothing ever came of it publicly. The ex-girlfriend believes his family was behind covering up his actions, cleaning up after him whenever he got into trouble. As mentioned, there has been no response from the company, but that's causing them a lot of trouble. Not only are the accusations against Junhwan disturbing, but people have also started fearing for the safety of the female idols in the same company. As a Twitter user put it, the fact that he's able to be in the same spaces as all these young girls is terrifying. What if he were to act on his words and do the things he says? Many fans have promised to stop supporting the group altogether, with several hashtags calling calling for Junhwan's removal trending widely in both Korean and English online. Despite this backlash, fans believe Starship knows what's going on and might be preparing to respond. They point out that since there hasn't been a full group photo, no live stream, no new profile pictures, or any updates to the group's social media pages, the company could be quietly working behind the scenes. Still, nothing official has been confirmed, so for now, everyone's just waiting for the company to make a statement.